Hello everyone, welcome to the new tutorial today. Last class we looked at how to create this object in Blender. We are using Blender 2.82. If you go to blender.com, you can download Blender. I will let it open first. We learned the basic interface of Blender, how to use the viewport to create basic objects, move, rotate and scale objects to create this object. We used a reference of this image by searching train engine toy on Google. Okay, so we simplified this model here. As you can see that there are more details here, but we use the basics without editing any objects to create this. So today's what we are going to do is try to get as close to the image as possible by exploring new options in Blender. Okay, so you can see that this cylinder has been modified to this one, this cone has been modified to this one, there are softer edges on these boxes, the wheel is rounded off as it is in the image, and so on. We used the monkey face instead of this object because this was more complex to create. So we will look at how to create this. Alright, so what I'll do is I will simply move this out of the way and then we will modify this object. So if you are on this video and don't know how to create this, I will put the link down in the description so you can create this, learn the basics of Blender and then move on to this advanced tool. Alright, so to create the more advanced object, what we need to understand is what these objects are made up of. So what I'll do is I'll go to create, I'll go to add mesh, and we'll add a cube. Okay, and then we are going to look at what this cube is made up of. So from the layout mode we go to the modeling mode, right? And in the modeling mode here you can see we were in object mode first and we go to the edit mode. And then we will click on this button which takes us to the wireframe view. Alright. Now this object is made up of vertex, edge and a face. Okay. So vertex is a dot. These dots are called vertices. One dot is called a vertex. Now you can select and move this dot and now you can see that you can modify the object. The next one is an edge. An edge is a line that connects the two vertices. Okay, and then again you can select that and move it around. You can rotate it around. You can even scale it around. Okay, so that way you can modify the object. The third one is the face, and the plane that connects the edges is called a face. So you will see in this box there are four sides to the face. There's only one line here, one line here, one line here, one line here. Alright. So it is important to understand that whenever you create any object, it has to have, most of the times, 98% of the times, should have four sides like the cube. Sometimes it can have three sides, but as much as possible try to not have five or more sides to an object. Okay, and we will understand that more in detail when we create more complex objects. But for now you need to understand that there are vertices, edges and faces. Okay, so and then you can go from object mode to edit mode, and then we will look at, I will simply delete that, and then we will look at how to use these basic objects. We don't need the monkey head anymore, so we'll delete it, to modify these objects. So one thing what I want to talk about now is, if you look at this object, any object that you see in nature, even though it has sharp edges, will never be extremely sharp like we have here. Okay, so one way to bring a natural look to your 3D model is to have softer edges. Okay, so how do you create a soft edge? So let us start with this box first. Go to the wireframe mode, and why you go to wireframe mode is so that when you are in edit mode, okay, and then say for example you're here, and then you select the faces. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 faces are selected, but the faces which are in the back are not selected. Okay, these faces are not selected, as you can see. If you go to the wireframe mode, you'll see that the back face is not selected, even the bottom face is not selected. So if you want to select all the faces, you have to be in the wireframe mode, and when you select all the faces, everything gets highlighted. Okay, so we need to go in edges because we need to make the edges soft. So we'll select all these edges. Okay, all the edges are selected. So this is one edge. If you shift select the other one, then shift select this one and shift select this one, it select all the edges and also the face. But primarily all the edges are selected. And if you right click, now you get extrude edge, bevel edge, bridge edge, and all the edge options. We're going to use bevel edge. Okay, and then if you move your mouse, the object starts modifying. So instead of doing any changes, I will simply click on it, and there's a bevel option here which has an offset option. So I simply click and drag, and I just want a little bit, so 0.05 is a good number. And then there are also segments. So right now there are no segments. We need to add a few segments. Now you should not add too many segments, right? I have added 87 segments now. When the number of segments go up, the number of faces go up. The geometry becomes complex and the scene becomes heavy. So you have to be economical in terms of how many polygons you're using to create an object. So as little as possible is what you should aim for. But when there are smooth objects, you will of course need more segments, more geometry to create that softness. So I will go to say 5. So we are using 0.05 and 5. Even 4 is a good number. Okay, so points, and then we can make this is okay. 0.05 and 4 segments is what we are going to use. And what happens now is, if you go to your object mode here, and then you can viewport display, you can deselect the wireframe. So you can see that the edges are much softer, but still they are not, it's not looking smooth. So you can select this, right click and say shade smooth. And it may look smooth but little weird. So what you do is you go to this option, object data properties, go to normals and turn on auto smooth here, and then you get more realistic results. For example, this one I'll make shade smooth, and if you turn auto smooth on, you can see that this surface is smooth but you have harder edges. Okay, and same with this. So we'll have to make each object smooth and then normals also smooth. So these are the few things we need to do. So this object is all done. It doesn't need anything. It was this object here. You will do the same thing with this object. So go to wireframe mode, edit mode, select all the edges, right click, bevel edge, 0.05 and 4. We are done with this object. We go to object mode, select this one, edit mode, select the object, right click, bevel edges, click 0.05 and 4. Okay, go back, go to object mode, and you select this, and I had done this before, but we will remove all the wireframe options. So the object mode, viewport display, and wireframe is what we are removing. Okay, this object, we will do the same thing. Go to edit mode. If you select the whole thing in wireframe, it will select the vertical lines also. We don't want that. So we just want to select this circle. And then you can use the shift and then select the other one. Right click, bevel edges. Okay, now here you will see that the back one is flat, but the front one has a round shape to it. So what I will do is I'll select this, only the front one, go to bevel edges, and we need to create a bigger bevel. Okay, so I want the front area to be shorter, so I made it big, and then we can use a bigger number of say 6, and then I will scale this bevel in, okay, to get this look. Okay, so if you go out, you can see that is what we get. And then we will again go to the wireframe mode, select this, right click, bevel edges, and instead of 1.23 we are going to use 0.05, and the number is 4. Okay, so now because of that, what has happened is, because we scaled it, go to object mode, we have to scale it out as well to make it the right size. Okay, so this is how we start. Don't want this to go inside. Okay, so we will do the same thing with this object. You can see that it ends here, and then there is a bevel here. So what we do is, again, wireframe mode, edit mode, we go to vertex this time, select the bottom vertex, right click and say bevel vertex. Okay, and then you can see that it's beveling, and we don't want any segments right now. And then it should go till here. Okay, and then there is little difference in the diameter of the top and the bottom. So I'll select the top one and simply click on the scale tool and reduce it. And then right click, bevel, I need to use edges. So bevel edges. Okay, and it's 0, and then I can say maybe 0.3, I guess, or 0.25, something like that. Okay, then we will select the top one, bevel edge, 0.05. So we are using 0.05 and 4 for all the hard edges that need to look soft. Okay, same on this here, right click, bevel edges, 0.05 and 4, bottom one, bevel edge, 0.05 and 4. Okay, and then object mode, then we'll move this object up. So we got the top of the engine. So we are done with this object, this object, this object, this object, this object. We will work on this. And we will only create one wheel and delete the others. So this one delete, this one delete, this one delete, we don't need. Again, wireframe mode. Now what we need to do is make this one smooth, and then the edge is smooth later on. So I'll use the Alt and middle click, and then I want to go to the front side. This other is coming in the way, so I'll select this and move on the left. Okay, so I'll select this, edit mode, and I'll select only the middle ones, right click, and we need to subdivide it, and then I will add 2 to the subdivision. Okay, then we will select the subdivision, and then I want to scale it out, so I'll click here. I'll scale it slightly out. Okay, and then we will again use the Alt key, and then select each of these separately. Then we have to be in the wireframe mode, shift this side, shift this, shift this. We don't want to select the vertical edges. Right click, bevel 0.05, and we can try to use even lesser number here. Now in the middle we need more, so I will deselect the middle ones with these bevel edges, maybe 0.1 and 4, and select the middle ones one at a time. I will use 1.5, a big number, 0.15 I guess. Okay, 2.2. Okay, and then this can be 3. So that will create softness. So again we will see smooth edges, and here we need to make sure that auto smooth is on. So that creates the soft wheel. All we have to do is shift T and move it, select both of them, shift T and move it here. Okay, you can move it in place later on. Now we need to work on this part. So what you can do is go to add a cylinder, rotate it, (90 degrees). Move it in place. We are creating this. So we want to cut the cylinder. So what I will do is go here, edit mode, select vertices, right click. Now we have to use edges. Right click and bisect. Bisect. Then we will bisect it. And then we'll say the problem is we have to be in wireframe mode to select whole thing, bisect, and I've already selected clear inner to show you. So it is clear outer, clear inner, and fill. Okay, then you go to the face, select the bottom face, right click, and we're going to use extrude face, and that will extrude it down. Okay, now we go back to our edges. We will select these edges, shift select this, shift select this, shift select this, and then again we have to be in wireframe. Okay, so we selected this side, bottom, but we don't want this, so shift deselect. So clicking on the same edge and hitting shift will deselect it. So all the outer edges have been selected. Right click, bevel edges, 0.05, sides we're using 4. Okay, and then this needs object mode first. This needs the yellow color, so we will select material, yellow color. Place it in place. It is bigger than the other objects, so you'll scale it out. Okay, and then smooth shade this one and make sure auto smooth is on. And that's how this is completed. This was bothering me. Okay, so you can see that we have created the engine. Now this part, and also it has an extension, so if you want to create this, you will need this part. So that we will do in the next class, and then we will create the rest of the objects. Okay, so that's about it. Hope you are able to create this object, and if you get stuck, please comment in the comment box below and I will try my best to answer your questions. Thank you very much.